Okay, and we got that going too. Fantastic. Well, we're almost there. No, I lost you. I don't know where you guys went. Um, well, welcome to the 5D Academy of Higher Consciousness. I'm Zarathustra, broadcasting from Tulum, Mexico. Today, we're going to talk about the part two um, of continuation of what we talked about last week. And at the Academy, I was asked to talk about my experiences, my encounters with highly developed, um, enlightened beings like Papa G and Adele Tinnings, these um, avatars, these giants, spiritual giants that I met, and what sort of impression and experience um, I had with them from being encountering them. So we're going to delve into that. Um, I'm not seeing the gallery on Zoom, so I can't see you. I'm on a different platform and I can't find you. So, Mr. Amir, are you around? Are you there? And if you're there, can you bring the gallery back for me because I lost it? So, it's not, I don't know where it is. Just be patient with me for a moment. I'm trying to find out where we are. Okay, there you are. I found you. So you're here. Okie dokie. Good. See, we have a message from Peter. What is it? Hello, my brother. I like to talk about the community talking about 678 D high energy coming to Earth, awakening of human race, or more than 50%, and all the money you can pay for this or that. I'm not exactly sure what you mean by the money I can pay for it, but we'll get into that, Peter. You have to give me a little bit more explanations, but I will just switch to you. My microphone's not working. Okay, no problem. We'll get into that. So back to where we were of these encounters. Uh, um, let's go back to Papaji, Punjaji, that he is my main guru. And in Sanskrit, ancient language, Sanskrit, your main guru is called Sat Guru. I'm not talking about the gentleman who's become very famous, calls himself Sadguru. That's not what I'm who I'm referring to. That's a name he picked up for himself. I'm talking about Sat Guru. Sat Guru means your main guru, the one, your master. And and you may have many different gurus in your life, but you only have one Sat Guru you may encounter, and that's the main one. And when you meet your real guru, and you know that this is the one, he or she, and there's no doubts. uh, but in our course of lifetimes, many different people can be your guru. You're going to learn from everyone if you're open. You can learn from a child, as a teacher, or even a dog. There are different ways. And also, there are enlightened beings that do come in a form of animals. And Ramana Maharshi is a very good example because he had encounters with enlightened beings who appeared as animals. And they came and they did their work and they left. But they were liberated beings and they chose to come in a form of a bird or a cow or whatever. So, but back to one of my experiences, as many different ones that I had with Master Punjaji, my teacher, was there was a moment, I think I explained it to you, that we were looking at each other and my mind went completely blank and I experienced no thoughts. Did I say this part last week or no? Yeah, one of the times I was sitting with a master, most of the time when you would go to satsang, we called it satsang house. What we meant was the community place where the master would come and sit there and we all would go and sit with him and receive darshan from the enlightened being. And one of the reasons is very important to be close if you can create a situation to be in a close proximity of an awakened being, is because similarly that if you're sitting in an airplane and the person next to you, or you're in a car driving and the person next to you has a flu and they're coughing and sneezing and they're sick, it's very much possible that you contract their flu or their bacteria as well and get sick. And the same thing with awakened beings. If you're in a proximity of an awakened being who's very high vibrational and you spend enough time around them, it's very much possible that you get affected by their higher vibrational frequency, and that's going to help you to raise your own vibrational frequency to a higher level. So, and that's what happens. That's why in the old days, and even today, but previously, the wealthy people who could afford it, they would pay for the ashram. They would buy the location, the building. They would support the ashram for the guru to come and sit and to give darshan, to give satsang, to give energy transference, to teach. And then they would create a situation for the disciples, for the seekers, to come and be able to sit there and to be able to receive from the guru. Because all of it costs money. Somebody has to pay for the electricity, for the water, for the food, for lodging, for staying there. So in old days, 100 years ago, 200, 300, 400 years ago, some Maharaj or some wealthy people would finance the ashram, and then the guru was able to teach, and the people didn't have to work to be close to the guru, and they would go and be with the guru, and in return they would do volunteer work. So it would create that situation. We had a similar situation. Papaji didn't want to have an ashram. He didn't want to have a large audience around him. And he always ran away from crowds. But as he always said, the same energy that made me run away from people was the same energy that made me sit and forced me to teach. And what happened was eventually he was diabetic and he couldn't really walk very well. And he wasn't very healthy anymore. So he couldn't run away from people going from one city to another city. So he had to stay, and he settled at his home in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh, where he had a house, and then he got discovered, and then we all were lucky to be at his presence. One of these days that he was giving satsang, which normally would start from 9 in the morning till 12, but it was supposed to be 5 days a week, but he wasn't well. So sometimes it was two days a week, maybe once a week, maybe 4 days a week. Maybe they would come and say, this week there is no satsang, or Papa is taking a break. He had no obligation to any of us to do it. We were the ones who wanted him. So, and we weren't paying him. He was doing it for free. So, out of his heart. So, the man is 80, 82 years old. He doesn't want to do it. He doesn't do it. He's the boss. We're the ones who want him. He doesn't care. So, we have to go with his schedule. So, this was like around like March, April, end of the season being in Lucknow, and my visa was running out, and a few people that day would go and say goodbye to the master, because a lot of people would come from Europe, all over the world. They would come in the beginning of the season, like September, October, and leave by the end of the season, because by May it was really, really hot. Nobody wanted to be there anymore. And I was one of the people who went to say goodbye. And it was a playful day. So I said, I prepared a song for you, and I want to sing a song for you. And he said, okay. So I started to sing the Bare Necessity from Jungle Book. And I changed the lyrics from, so I sing my song for him. And when it's over, everyone claps for me. And satsang was ended. It was 12 o'clock. I finished my song. He does this. He gets up. As he gets up, it's over. Everyone's getting up to leave. It's the end. It's 12 o'clock. It's over, like at the end of our academy. I experienced physically a sledgehammer. Do you know what a sledgehammer is? Is two big pieces of iron, big iron rod. And let's say you want to change a tire. You have a big tire on a wheel of a car, and you want to get the tire off of the rim, and you put this sledgehammer in there, and you're pressing to getting off, separating the tire of the car from the wheel. These days they're doing it with a machine, but I experienced that somebody put two sledgehammer inside my chest right here, and they pressed it open, and I heard a crack, and my chest broke open, as if somebody with a cutter, when they're cutting trees with the electric, what do you call it? Electric blade, cut me. And I started to scream, ah, ah. I'm shaking and I'm screaming from top of my lungs. And I'm hearing like this explosion happen inside me. And I'm feeling the pain of being cut open. And I'm shaking and I'm screaming uncontrollably, like never screamed like that in my life. And I can experience like a portal opened up, and there was energy moving through me and the cosmos, like maybe a huge gas pipe just burst open, when you're watching like, places, oil fields, like when the petroleum or gas erupts in the sky. It was like an explosion. It was a violent explosion of this energy that happened, and phew, there was like this connection happened, and sort of I remember the color was sort of greenish with like stars in it, like glitter, green and glitter color of this thing between me and cosmos. And I'm just going like this, screaming, and I fell down. And luckily there were people behind that the cat caught me, so I didn't smash my back of my head. And I fall down and I'm just shaking like crazy and I'm screaming like crazy. Like, and Papaji leaves and a bunch of people come and sit with me. There were a lot of loving, caring healers at that time. So everyone's trying to calm me down. And that took about like an hour and a half before I could get up and walk. And I was functionable. And I remember when finally I was able to walk, I leave the satsang house and I'm in a daze and I'm about to cross the street and I almost got hit by a truck because I'm completely disoriented. I cannot identify anything. And somehow, luckily, somebody came and grabbed me who knew me and they took me home and they cared for me. But that was an experience of having my my interpretation was that my heart opened up in that moment to the love of God, or this was some kind of opening to higher vibrations. And it was a very, very powerful, profound experience that I had with this man. And also many other things would happen. Like another time, I had a conversation with him. Uh, this is a little bit the tricky area to talk about because of what happened, the experience I had in Iran, in Kurdistan part of Iran, in year 1992 with a car accident that the car rolled down the hill 7 times and nothing happened. And then being arrested and contained by security forces because they were wondering what the hell you're doing here. And anyway, getting accused of being some kind of, don't want to go deep into it, but spend like 15, 16 days in a dungeon being interrogated. And one of the, I don't want to go in that story at this point, and I'm not really ready to talk about it. And what happened and all the stuff. And I don't have any beef or grudges against my captors and what they did to me. As far as I'm concerned, the chapter is closed. And we went through whatever karmic thing we had with each other, and whatever had to happen to me had to happen, and they had to do it. So I'm going to leave this part out, and maybe I put it in my book. So at this point, however, it was a horror experience of being tortured and being in that situation and being pulled to the point of being executed in the middle of nowhere in a political prison uh, without any kind of help or defense or anything. You have no rights. And in one of my encounters with Papaji, it was interesting because the cell, this cell that I was contained in, it had a carpet little carpet. It was kind of reddish color. It was old. And had a toilet there with these hinges of the toilet, and the paint of it was kind of beige. When I moved into this house in Lucknow, in the beginning, when I finally made it to Lucknow, I don't know if you remember, I told you I had 30 miracles happen to me in 30 days. When, as I left Tehran, Iran, to fly to Bombay and then New Delhi and then going to Lucknow, India in November 1992, I experienced 30 miracles. Every day a miracle would happen. And one of the events happened that I met this French man who was looking for a roommate. He had rented a house and he wanted someone to share the rent with him. And the rent was $100 a month. Was the house. We paid $50 each. So, but it didn't have anything. No refrigerator, no stove, no water heater, no beds, nothing. You had to buy everything. And I had a bedroom, and I don't know, somehow I bought a red rug, and with a futon mattress that I would sleep on it at night. It's very simple, nothing. Just blanket, a little futon mattress with a rug to put under the floor. And I didn't pay attention. I didn't realize something. What happened was, in one of my encounters, one-on-one, sitting with the master, with Papaji, in front, nobody was around. Papaji says, "How do you like your room, your bedroom in Lucknow?" I go, I like it. It's okay, Papaji. I like it. And then he said, "It's like your cell gel in Iran, isn't it?" What? How in the world he knows I was in this prison? And how does he know what the cell I was in, what it looked like? He says, "It's got the same hinges and the same red carpet, and it's beige, isn't it?" And I'm just blown away. I'm like, huh? I'm like dumbfounded in this moment. Like, how in the world he knows about this? Because I had not told about it to anybody in India. My family knew about it. No one else knew about it. And then he says, "That was quite an experience you had, didn't you? They were about to execute you in the last moment, weren't they?" And he's laughing, he's kind of joking. I said, "Yes." And then he says, "Who do you think brought you out of there? Who do you think brought you here?" He knew. They were there. They were a part of it. Me getting to that place. They wanted me to die. And I died there because that was right before I go to India to see him. So I had to die there and be reborn and be clean enough to come and see the master. So a part of me had to die. And that was killed in that prison, a part of me. But they carried me. I didn't go there on my own free will. They carried me throughout the accident that the car fell down the mountain 7 times and nothing happened to the 3 passengers in there. They got me into that situation. They orchestrated the torture and interrogation, and they orchestrated my release And they orchestrated everything, bringing me to India and putting me in front of the master. He knew the whole thing. He was a part of the whole thing. The entire thing is written, and the entire thing is being orchestrated by your guru. Your guru. We are not sitting here talking to each other based on coincidence or accident because you just found this information or we found each other. This is designed 100%. This communication, this wisdom of the fifth dimensional awareness, of the Advaita Vedanta understanding of the oneness, this teaching is only for selected few on this planet. The rest are not supposed to hear it. It's not for them. The rest are supposed to believe they have free will and act according to that, and they have to suffer. Only a few people in every cycle of life are given this access to get liberated. And that's by the will of God. Otherwise, if God wanted everyone to awaken, then the drama of the life will end. So all this chaos you see in the world is entertainment for God. The world is not ending. You don't need to worry about Donald Trump. You don't need to worry about which direction European Union is going. You don't need to worry about the fascism. You don't need to worry about blah, blah, blah. You don't need to worry about Mother Earth is going to, I know a lot of people are stuck on this one. Mother Earth needs my help. No. Only an idiot thinks Mother Earth needs your help. Mother Earth doesn't give a shit about your health. Your help. Mother Earth has been here much longer than you and I, and have seen parasites and worms and bacteria like human beings 100 times. Well, we'll want to get rid of us. We'll get rid of us in a second. You don't need to worry about saving Mother Earth. Just worry about yourself. Don't get caught into these stories. It's bullshit. Everything is taken care of 100% by Her Majesty, the Supreme Being, exactly the way it's supposed to be. And you're all taken care of. There's nothing to worry about. All is very well. Everything is in good hands. All you do is you divert away your attention from the world politics, world blah, 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 da, 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 da. Just take your attention away from it and just come back to your heart. Just come back to the heart. Come back here and stay here. That's your test. That's your path of liberation. No one's going to get awakened by focusing on the world, trying to fix the world. The world is being used as a university. It's a school that is teaching the souls that enter into that school. They have to go through the experiences of this life. We don't want to destroy the school. It's needed. It's being used for a purpose. You want to graduate it, but you don't want to change it. So that was one of the powerful experiences of encountering this giant, and observing like this guy is everywhere. He's not a person. This was God. I'm sitting in front of Her Majesty, the Supreme Being, in the form of a human being. But this is not human. This is God that I'm sitting in front of. Huh. So, any questions before we move on? And you can just unmute yourself and ask me the question too. Do you have to be in direct contact with the awakened being, or on distant satsang is working as well? Well, preferably being around them if I could, but obviously we can see that the question, did you hear the question, you guys? Did you hear it? So Beatrice was asking that if you need to be, yeah, preferably being with them as much as you can, but without an idea. The awakened beings, the sages, are not saints. They're different. Saints are different than sages. And a lot of people make this mistake, because a saint is somebody who is going to do and uphold the value of their followers, of the belief system. Let's say I have 10,000 followers and they're putting me on the pedestal. And the idea is I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't have sex, I don't watch porn, I don't use profanity language. The idea is like you're very, whatever it is, the idea of holiness it is. And what happens is when you're not following those things, they're the same people who crucify you. The same people who put you up are the same people who are going to hang you and crucify you. Sages are different. Sages, they do their own thing. They don't care if you're approving them or not. They're not doing it for your approval. And they may do crazy stuff. Like the old shamans of the tribes. Old days, the shaman of a tribe, the witch hunter, the wise one, sometimes would do a crazy thing, which would shock the whole tribe. And they couldn't understand it at the moment. But later on, they would understand, like the crazy action came out of this shaman was for the good of the tribe, but they couldn't get it in the moment because it wasn't moral, or it wasn't going with their ideas, their beliefs. So they're different. Most through authentic awakened bonds, they're not gonna follow, or they're not gonna fulfill your expectations. They're crazy. They do crazy stuff. Crazy in the standard of people who are thinking with their right, left brain. They're crazy. They're not crazy. They're free. Free people do whatever they want to do in a moment. I'm not saying that if you're free, you can run on the streets of Warsaw naked. You can do it, but then the society is going to hold you responsible. So you have to pay consequences of the society. I'm not giving you license to do, but if you're free, you're free. But you're doing whatever you're doing. You're not doing it to satisfy other people. You're doing it because you have freed yourself from the illusion. So back to this question, transmission can happen from distance. Not necessarily you have to be close physically to your teacher, as long as your heart is connected. As long as you feel it in your heart, you receive darshan. And we can see that. We can see it in the academy many, many times. In this one, on Instagram, on my Farsi Academy, that there is no time and space. We can easily go into the unified field and feel the bliss of God. And we've done it together many times, and we can do it right now. So thanks for the question, Beatrice. That was a good question. I appreciate it. Let's say, can you talk more about your experience in learning of coming back to the heart during difficult times? Yeah, I can. Uh, Let me answer Peter's question first, because he said, I like to talk about the community, talking about 678 DI energy coming to Earth. Peter, I don't know anything about these things, and I don't entertain myself with. Can you all read this uh, note? Do you have access to the notes? To the chat? Can you go on the chat? Or it's only for me? We can access. Okay. So Peter says, I like to talk about the community, talking about 678D, I assuming dimension, high energy coming to Earth, awakening of human race, are more than 50%. And then it says, and all the money you can pay for this or that. So that part I don't understand, the money. But let me answer your question on this one. I don't know much, Peter, about these other stuff. I don't entertain it. Uh, it's a nice concept, 6 dimension, 7 dimension, 8. It's a nice story that there is all this energy comes to planet Earth for awakening. Yeah, it appears to be that there is some sort of awakening happening at this point in our history. It appears to be. Is it going to hold or not? I don't know. Again, don't get caught by this story of something is going to happen in the future. All I'm interested is right now. Right now is the only thing I'm interested. Right now is the only thing that's important. The rest is only blah, blah, blah. If it's outside of right now and it's outside of here, forget it. I'm not interested. I don't want a promissory note that humanity is going to wake up in 20 years. I want awakening right now. So I hope I answered your question. Now let's look at Katrina. Can you talk more about your experience and learning of coming back to the heart during your difficult times? I'm assuming you're talking about that uh, jail time, right? Is that what you're referring to? Or I've had many difficult times. Which one are you? Can you unmute yourself? Yeah, I guess whatever experience you feel is kind of relevant to today.
I know you said you didn't want to talk about necessarily the jail time, so whichever piece you feel is relevant.
Um, yeah, I mean, you go through these traumatizing experience, uh, and of course you're going to go through nightmares. Uh, a lot of different things for a long time, they can trigger you. So for me, my commitment always has been to freedom. I wanted to be free. Freedom is not possible by the mind. So you have to turn the poison into medicine. So, okay, this experience happened. From a point of view of somebody else, this was a very bad incident and it was very unjust. But if I look at it from a different point of view, it was exactly what I needed because this is what happened. And I had to go through a certain kind of growth that obviously my guru had chosen for me, or it was in my destiny that these teachings, this particular teachings for Zarathustra, are only going to be experienced and learned through this particular experience. And for him to wake up into the reality of the apparent life and not fall into sleep, that evil does exist, and not be like yada 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 yada, or oh, let me hack the trees and everyone's da 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 da. No. So, but no matter what happens, I will not close my heart to love. I would not close my heart to God. And it's easy to fall into this place of becoming a victim, that, yeah, these things happened to me, it was unjust. But you can turn the poison into medicine. You can say, you know what? I'm not a victim. I had to experience these things. It helped me to grow and come to another level. It helped me, a part of me die. So I went through this metamorphosis, that an aspect of myself which was egotistic, because they were banging on my ego, they were banging on the I, because there was someone full of himself, and they were getting rid of that. So somehow I didn't go in a bitter area. I went into the love and the light. And I was able to use that opportunity to fuel the fire in myself for freedom. But in the same token, a lot of people can just get depressed, become alcoholic, they become traumatized and having PTSD or whatever. That it didn't happen for me. And events still happen to this day. Different things happen. And yeah, I had an experience like on Saturday, got attacked by a very aggressive dog from one of our neighbors who had almost attacked me once. The dog is running loose. She's not being responsible. We had warned her and not listening, and then letting the dog running loose. And the dog was ready to just take my foot off, a big, mean one. And I got very angry, very, very angry of this situation. And this fire came out of me. I was enraged. I was ready to kill. I went in that space of rage, which was kind of nice, of feeling the power that comes out of you when it's between your life and something's really threatening your life, and you have to be facing it. and you can't back off. You back off, the dog is going to tear you apart. It's aggressive, it's ready to rip you apart. And you just have to hold your ground. And yeah, your heart is pumping, your nervous system is up. And I was like, after this incident, yes, of course, I'm calling the management, the landlord. I'm angry. Like, why is she still living here? Why you're not kicking her out? Why is this dog running around? Why don't you call the police? Why you're not protecting? And what am I going to do? Shoot the dog? If you're not going to do anything, I have to do something about it. And this anger came. And I had friends coming over for dinner and they were telling me, calm down, calm down. I said, I don't want to calm down. I want this anger to run its course. Like if you have a flu, you have to let the flu run its course in your body. I don't want to calm down. I want to be angry. So I was angry for a day or two in rage, and then it went away. And now I don't feel it anymore. I'm back in my heart. But a couple of days ago, 3 days ago, that wasn't the loving Zarathustra, you know. There was like this ninja warrior ready to kill. It was someone else. And that's life. I let it come out, I experience it, and then it goes. And it's history. There's no more story with it. That's freedom. It's interesting because in the beginning, when I went to Lucknow, one day they allowed us to go to Papaji's house to sit with him, and came these two Osho sannyasin ladies who had come from Pune. At that time, there were a lot of, because Osho had died, and so there were a lot of Osho sannyasins that they just didn't know where to go to, who to go to. So they started coming to through Gangaji. Have you heard of Gangaji? So Gangaji awakened through Papaji, and she's an American lady and came back in the US and started to talk about Papaji and also Andrew Cohen. So a lot of people started going to Papaji because of these two people. And then a big group of Osho sannyasins from Pune started to funnel to Lucknow. But they had this attitude. So I remember one time we're sitting at Papaji's house, one of the only maybe once or twice that I was invited inside. And these two women came and they had an attitude with a big ego. They come and sit there and they're wearing their malas with Osho's picture. I don't know what happened. I was just like, I have no idea. I was just so stoked being there, that I'm allowed to be there. They said or did something, and Osho got up and got very angry and went and grabbed one of these ladies, grabbed her ear, and grabbed the other one's hand and said, "Get the hell out of my house right now," with anger. And they were just shaking and crying. And one of them fell at Papaji's feet and said, "Please, master, don't." And Papaji grabbed the other one and kicked her in her ass and threw her out of his house. The master, enlightened being, picked up, grabbed this woman and kicked her out of his house. But I know it all happened from his heart, and there was no malice intention in his behavior. It was just to soften this woman needed that incident because of her ego. So a lot of I've seen Amaji. Do you know Amaji, Mamritananda Mai, the divine mother, the hugging mother? You know her? Anybody knows her? Hello? Are you there?
No. Yes, we're here, but we don't know her. We don't know her. Gangaji, yes, she not. Yes.
You guys haven't heard of Mom Ritananda, the divine mother, the hugging mother? You haven't heard from her?
No. No, we didn't.
Okay. Well, she's an awakened avatar that she had an ashram in Kerala. In 1992, after being with Papaji, my French friend Rudra, it was coming close to Christmas, and Rudra said, Zarathustra, I want to go to southern part of India because Lucknow is too cold. And do you want to go? And I was a kid. I had no idea. I didn't know how to travel. I was very innocent. I had no traveling skills or anything. And I was scared to travel in India by myself. I had no idea how even to buy a ticket because it's so chaotic. And where do you buy it and where do you go? So I was happy someone's going to hold my hand and teach me how to do it. I said, yeah. He said, look, we'll go to Amma's ashram in southern India, and then we go to Tiruvannamalai, to Ramana Maharishi's ashram, and then we'll go see a couple other enlightened beings. And then we go to Goa, and then we come back. I said, okay, let's go. So we go to Ammaji's ashram. Ammaji, who is alive right now, and she's an avatar. They call her the hugging mother. She hugs people. On ordinary days in her ashram, she hugs 700-800 people a day. She's sitting there, musicians playing music, people line up, come there, she gives them a little bit of prasad, a little cookie, and she hugs them and she whispers something in their ear. On celebration days, she hugs 30,000 people, between 20 to 30,000 people in 3 days. And that's not a human being that can do it. This is like a Superman. And the 5 days I was at her ashram, I never felt the ground. I didn't feel like I'm walking on the ground. I felt like I'm walking in the air. I was so high. Well, I don't know how this happened, because there's mystery of life. We're just having lunch somewhere, and a Swami comes and tells us, hey, Swamis, Amaji has invited you, me and Rudra, and a few more other people to meet her tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock in the morning on the rooftop of the ashram to meditate with her. There's like 7 of us. Private meditation with Amaji, with Divine Mother. I'm like, out of everyone, somebody comes and sure. So, of course, we're dressed up nicely. I was so excited. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I brushed my teeth 5 times, washed my hair 3 times, showered 3 times, ironed everything. So 6 o'clock in the morning, we're all sitting on the rooftop. It's 7 of us waiting for Amaji to come and meditate with us. But she walks in and she's angry. She's yelling at Indian workers and she's kicking buckets of paint. Boom, kicks this bucket, is throwing it that way, throwing this around, yelling at everybody. She had told them that she wanted the walls to be painted this way, and they had screwed up, and they did something completely opposite, and she was pissed off. And here's the Divine Mother, pissed off. And we're waiting for her to come and sit with us to meditate. So she comes, and all of a sudden, from being really pissed off, very loving and looking into our eyes, and I'm like, like, like from the energy, the love comes from her. I'm just like, and then she looks at me, says, "You, later, you and your friend are invited to a special healing. Come at this time." And she tells one of her lieutenants to take us there. So after lunch, we go. So we do the meditation. Meditation ends. We go home. Da 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 da. We come back for more darshan, and then after lunch, she wanted to do a demonstration. So they take us to this special room, and there's this Indian girl naked. She only had a little thing on her private area, and she has like 1,000 wounds on her body. Leprosy, leprosy and old days. So every wound is infected all over her face, and they had brought her. Amaji comes there. She rolls up her sleeves, like a surgeon. She does a little prayer, and she stops and starts licking this girl's wounds with infection all over, and she's licking all of her body. And then we heard later on she got healed. This is an avatar. This is not a human being. This is God. But also has nervous system. When the workers didn't do their job right, she was pissed off. She was yelling at them. Awakening doesn't mean that you're going to be like this all the time, like a robot. Like a lot of teachers, they're pretending like they never get upset. That's bullshit. You're going to get upset, you're going to get angry, you have nervous system, you're going to get impatient, you're going to be hungry. All kinds of things can happen to you. Best is not to have any ideas and stay open with open heart and just receive. So that's some of the tales about these stories of my encounters with these awakened beings, which was great. I had to see it. I had to learn. Because there are many moments in my spiritual career I've doubted myself, like, is that okay I get angry? Is that okay I get impatient? Is that okay da? Or people have compared me with other people. Well, Ramana Maharshi wouldn't drink. Well, I'm not Ramana Maharshi, I'm sorry, I drink. Ramana Maharshi wouldn't smoke a cigarette. Well, I'm not Ramana Maharshi, I'm Zarathustra. It's best to be yourself because everybody else is taken. On that note, I'm going to say goodbye to you, my beloveds. Next week, I'm going to head to Warsaw, Poland. And I don't know if I'm leaving on Thursday or on Friday. I haven't decided yet. I have to change my flight. I haven't decided on the day. but best is not schedule the academy. So I don't want to promise you and be a no-show. So heading to Poland, and then inshallah, God willing, if I'm still alive, heading to Norway and seeing my rest of my family. And you all know my website, Zarathustra.tv. And also, we're organizing by the end of next week. I'm going to have an open registration for our retreat in Poland in August, the 1 week retreat. So it's going to be from August 10th to 17th. Mark it down in your calendar. And this year, I'm not going to be teaching healing techniques and methods. This year is going to be, we will still have a shamanic day, but it's my 7th annual 5D quantum healing and awareness retreats. Somehow magically, we made it to 7. And most teaching is going to be about awareness. Most teaching is going to be about liberation. And we're going to dance, yes. We're going to have fun. We're going to have field trips. And I'm going to make it juicy, as always. Let's see, there's one last message. And what? I didn't get it. Hope to see you someday in Italy. Yes, Beatrice, I love to. By the way, I am looking for, if anybody wants to manage and organize me coming to their cities, and you're able to pull people together for satsang or for workshop, I'm open. I'm available to expand these teachings to other places. So, Beatrice, if you want, contact us, send me an email, because once I finish this broadcast, I don't have access to our communication on the chat anymore. So you can write me an email, info@zarathustra.tv. You know my website. Nice seeing you all. If I don't see you, I know some of you I'm going to see in Poland and Norway. Definitely you, Renata, you're going to be there, and we're going to see you there because you're in Warsaw. And hopefully I see a bunch of you in Norway, and look forward to seeing you and loving you, and stay in your heart, and we'll be in touch. Namaste. I don't know why I don't like this. I don't know why. When I do it, I feel funny.
What don't you like?
I don't know. There's something funny about it. It's just something, I feel like it's fake. I don't know why.
Isn't it natural? Isn't this natural?
This? Yeah, it's all good. I just don't know. Yeah, I've tried it a few times, but I realize I don't like it. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just, yeah. Yeah. We'll see each other soon. Let's keep in touch. Come to Poland for the retreat. Let's dance together, and let's not postpone it to another time. Love you all. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. Nice seeing you all. Monica, Marit, Elijah, Suzanne, Hilde, Renetta, Hilde Hogan. Where are you, Hogan? You don't come. What happened to you? Hane, Peter, Eva. Nice seeing you all. I love you. Even I don't see you on the camera. So looking forward to seeing you all, and thank you for your support and love. I get it.
And we are so looking forward to you come to Hamar, you know.
Likewise. All right.
Okay,
Kiss, kiss.
bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Restream.